Hello everyone, welcome to the stream. See if I can set this up properly. I got my OBS saying that I'm offline, but maybe somebody can confirm whether I'm online. I have Mr. Brain, hi. Thanks for joining. Well, it looks like I'm online. I can see the trams moving, I can see the taxis coming and going. So we'll just assume that we're online, eh? Hi Faith, thanks for joining the stream. Now, if I could get my chat to work in OBS, that would be great. Alright. I'll tell you what I can do. I can close that. And now I can see the chat. Hello everyone. Hey Alonzo. Enterwork. Ojas, nice to meet you. Thanks for joining the stream. So today we're just going to be having a casual game, casual playthrough. We usually do these Cities Uncut episodes for members only for the channel, and I'm usually just recording an hour of gameplay in between episodes, generally just fixing things that I never got round to sorting out before the episode aired, and making sure everything is ready for the next episode. So we're not going to be building anything significant. I have a massive list of things that I need to do. I have a to-do list on my phone that I like to just keep up to date anytime that I think of a new idea, or if I see an idea in the comments which I think would be really good, or if I created an issue and somebody in the comments has also said, you know, that needs fixing. So I'll usually jump into one of these pre-recording sessions and just start to make some fixes. But I thought, why not live stream it and have a few of you along for the ride? So there may be some hiccups along the way. For example, my two dogs in the office with me today, and they do like to bark, and this is one of the main reasons why I don't usually live stream, because if there's any noise outside my house they will go absolutely crazy. So in that case, if that happens, I've got a special screen, this one, and I'll mute my audio and try to calm them down, but for now I think they're pretty well behaved, but if I need to pop off and help them out, they will take priority, and I hope you guys will stick around for when I get back. So the recording enter work will be available after the stream. I think we will probably allow it, have it up as a members only on-demand stream for a few days, but then I'll change it to be available to the wider public, just so that we give some of our channel members a few perks for being supporters of the channel, and early access if you'd like to think, but I will make it available to everyone eventually. But this is looking nice. Lots of taxis at around about 11 o'clock at night, so there must have been a train bringing people home from their holidays or from work. Anyway, I'll probably take it quite easy through this stream, but if you've got any questions along the way, feel free to leave them in the chat. Okay, so let's have a look at one of the first issues that I did see somebody mention in the chat. Was we had a lamppost sticking through the rail here, which, yes, I agree, is not good, is it? So we're just going to use better bulldozer on this. Let's use the remove sub-elements feature, and we should just be able to remove that from existence. It does mean though that at night we might not have that much light in this area now, so I'm just interested in seeing what this looks like now. Yeah, it's not very well lit, is it? So we'll need to put some custom lights in here, I think. So we'll jump in to find it. Oh, I'll tell you what, my dog is already asking for some attention because I've started talking to the mic. She thinks this is a good time for her to sit on my lap. So let me just pick her up. Come here. Yeah, so the reason why she wants to sit on my lap while I'm talking on the mic is because usually when I'm working and I'm on a Teams call or a meeting, my hands are free because I'm usually just sat there talking to people, and she gets lots of attention. So as soon as I start talking, she thinks she can jump onto my lap. So I've just put her up here, and I'll calm her down a little bit. But let's have a look at some lampposts. What would be good here? We want something with quite large coverage. So we've got a street light single there. Do these come in different sizes, I wonder? Hey, Kegwing! Kegwing, thanks for joining me. I'm going to be terrible at these names. I'm not used to this whole live stream malarkey, but thanks for joining the stream. We're just taking a look at what lights we can put around this roundabout. Well, I don't know. I think this one will be alright. We'll probably need to turn on Anarchy. It's different to that one, but it's got a longer reach. This is annoying. I saw this in one of City Planner Plays videos where he was placing down these trees, and I don't know whether it's a conflict with one of the mods or whether it's in the game, but having the trees and the lights kind of intersect is a little bit strange. A little bit annoying, but what can you do? We'll just leave it for now. Let's come up here, shall we? Put one there, and then we could possibly stick one underneath the bridge as well, like attach it below. That might be something that we do. Let's put one over here. And another one in this corner. Yeah, let's find a roof light. I think it'll be somewhere in here. So that's a tunnel light. That would be one that goes on the floor. Oh, here we go. Roof light. These will be quite good. Let's see if we can get under here and place it. Oh, it doesn't like that for some reason. I think we're trying to do something that the game doesn't like doing. What we can do is we can change the elevation and just kind of force it in ourselves. Where is that? I mean, these bridges are kind of a bit weird anyway because they're not rendering properly. These are the custom tracks by Tygon. And I don't know whether there's supposed to be any sort of rendering underneath, but it's not really showing up. Let's have a look at it from here. Maybe we put just a few lights. And I think, well, we can't see them. Well, they are floating. Alright, what we can do is turn on Move It. And let's see if we can pick these up. We can change the elevation just a little bit. I mean, the main thing is probably this is the lowest I'll go. So if I can't see them here, that works for me. And it is lighting up the road. Hi Oscar, thanks for joining the stream. And car review in-game, thank you. Picana, evening, nice to see you. And you're making some dinner at this time. Wow. I've eaten ages ago. You just get so hungry through the day. QZ, thanks for joining. Howdy, howdy. And yes, Ojas, we've been putting the tunnel, a light underneath the bridge because we had a lamppost sticking through the track before and it did look a little bit silly. But it's looking good. I quite like that. And I quite like the fact that the light is a slightly different colour too. Because it reminds us that we actually did add some detail in this area. Let's go back to day then. Lovely. That's quite blinding, isn't it? But that was, I think, one of the few issues that somebody had pointed out in the last video. So we didn't cause too many problems, which is always a badge of honor if you don't get a whole bunch of people saying, you've done this wrong, don't do that. And people are just happy to watch the content, and we seem to have pleased everyone. Because at the end of the day, everyone's got different preferences. Take this rail line, for example. I've used predominantly a single track throughout a lot of the island, which I think is fantastic that we've got a two-way network in the game. But I know that it's becoming more congested, and we are having a few backups on our rail network, and we are going to have to double track this at some point. But I do love the single tracks. I think it adds a lot to the atmosphere, especially the small town vibe that I like to think that this island has at this point. Who's to say the island isn't going to grow a lot bigger? You should probably make the track elevated and not cross the road leading the school. Yeah, that is... I disagree with that. I think these neighborhoods and these cities are so small, and we don't have that much traffic. We don't have that much rail traffic that a lot of these level crossings would have existed even in real life cities. You know, elevated rail is to come once the city grows a lot larger, but I think this is fine. We're not seeing that much traffic here. And the kids, they, I imagine, would have to be educated not to play on the tracks. I mean, where I grew up, we did have a mix of rail bridges, but we did have level crossings as well. And in fact, I know it sounds really old-fashioned of me, but I promise that I'm in my early 30s. But we did used to put pennies on the rail, and when the trains came and flattened them, that was pretty cool. Well, in fact, they didn't just flatten them; they would also send them flying like bullets. So you would hide behind a fence, and yeah, you would hear the pennies just flying off. But what we could do to make this a little bit safer is add a fence. And if anybody gets beyond the fence, then who is the scientist? Is it Darwin's principle? They'll quickly learn not to. Let's see. So we've got a few different fences that we could use. So this is the industrial one with barbed wire. I think this is a little bit overkill because of the barbed wire. I would have loved it if it was just a simple chain link fence. This one's quite nice though, because this is the residential fence. And if you compare that to the industrial fence, it's not that much shorter, is it? If we compare that to a person, I don't know if there's anyone walking by. still a fairly high fence. Or we've got this low one, which I think I was having a look at some Japanese train systems, not necessarily the super fast bullet trains, but they're smaller trains. Some of their older trains from, I don't know what it would be, like 100 years ago. They use a lot of these little fences. So I might use one of these. I quite like that. So I'm from Germany. We often have these one-rail tracks through the villages, but at the moment, the DB, our railway service, have been building up the system, and we often get more tracks over now. Yeah, I think that's happening here in the UK as well. We have a lot of these smaller tracks that are becoming upgraded over time. And with modern systems, I think points of failure are really, really important to remove. So, and I'd like to kind of go through that process myself in Sunny Isle. So I'm quite happy to create systems that are far less than perfect. And I get many comments on some of my choices for traffic solutions, especially over here. Let's look at this one. You're going to hate this one. Look at it. We got a big fat roundabout with a level crossing with points, one going in one direction, one going straight on. Now, this is something that probably would exist at some point in time, say like 70, 80 years ago, 100 years ago. Maybe not with the roundabout, but I think over time this will be removed. I've already laid out plans in my head that this will eventually be an overpass, and the road here heading to the port, and if we go into the other direction to the colliery, will go underneath that overpass. The road will come into here, and then we have this. We could either connect it up here by upgrading this road and creating a connection point down here, or we could create two slip roads that come off either side of the overpass and then connect up to this road here. But at the moment it's working. We get a backup every now and then, and this is something that I'm not going to change in today's episode, because this would be a great episode in itself. But I'm just happy, you know, seeing all the traffic. I've seen some people's builds where they're really struggling with traffic, as in the lack of traffic. I love just seeing all the cars going around the map. I think it's fantastic. And that's why I've got so much parking as well in the city. I know that there's a lot of people that don't like to see as much parking that I place down, but if you don't put any parking down, where are people going to keep their cars, you know? Anyway, I've just noticed that I keep on blasting my mic, so I might just turn that down a little bit. Let me know what the quality is like. I've just dropped it by a couple of decibels. I think when I get a little bit excited, I keep on pushing the mic far too high. Anyway, you guys are talking away in the chat. I keep on missing it, but I do appreciate everyone joining in the conversation. So Car Reviewing Game says, actually, I also build my city like it would exist in reality. It looks better and makes fun to work on these problems in the future. Yeah, I agree. That's all the that's what we do in the game, right? We set our own challenges, because if we don't, we end up just building utopian cities that, in my opinion, can be a little bit boring. Alright, so we're using the parallel tool here with the low fence network, and we're just going to be following this track along, providing a little bit more safety. I mean, we might get animals around here as well. We don't really want any animals coming through and causing any disruption. And we do have a fence on this asset already, so maybe we just skip this section and just start at the back here. And we do have a little bit of a retaining wall there, which was needed because the asset footprint of this welfare centre was going a bit crazy when this was just on the ground. These doors were all covered up by the terrain, but putting that key wall in kind of resolved that, and it adds just one of those small little features, adds to the randomness that kind of makes the city look a little bit more believable. Looks like we got more of a death wave coming through again. Yeah, those death waves are becoming more and more common, I've noticed, since the last update. And I did put an extra crematorium down, so hopefully that issue can resolve over time. Now, is it worth doing a complex curve here? Maybe. Oh, that's we don't get a 1.5. That's a shame. All right, let's just go for the 1 then. Yeah, I'm just going to try the complex curve here. See if we can place this in nicely. Yeah, I'll take it. Yeah, that's alright. Don't think we need it for this side. I'm not going to fence the whole track, just where we've got a lot of the population built up. And especially along this cricket ground. We don't want the ball going astray and then eventually people not looking where they're going and then jumping onto the tracks. And we've got a footpath here as well, which I do want to extend eventually all the way to the main city. This will probably go all the way up to the river crossing that we've got up near the coal yard, I think. There we go, right up to there. And then we can start to head back, I think. And I could have used the parallel tool for this section, but sometimes it's just quicker to get these things down than trying to fiddle around with all the different tools. I find that I'm often trying to set up the line tool just to place down 3 benches equidistant from each other, and it would have taken me probably about half as much time to just place the benches down manually. So you have to not become too reliant, I think, on some of these tools and just crack on with it, you know. But I think this fence is a great addition. And it being the small fence, I think it also signifies that this rail line isn't necessarily super modern. And we can fix this up with a little bit and move it, I think. But before we do that, let's save the game. So we're going to go for 28A live stream. A. Always do a little cheeky save game if you're doing anything with move it. Hey Alex, thanks for joining. We have a cemetery. I'll have to double check to see if it's full. But I think it's in a good spot still. Let's just drag this over. This blue highlight gets on my nerves sometimes, you know. I can't see what I'm doing. Oh, so if this happens if you're using Move It and your FPS goes a bit crap and goes a bit wild, just select something else and it should fix itself. It should fix itself. This is what somebody told me. Let's escape that. Let's go back into Move It. Oh yeah, look, it's working now, is it? Sometimes it won't. Yeah, Move It is just completely pooped out on me. Okay, looks like we won't be playing with Move It this episode, or this stream, I don't think. And that seems alright now. Strange. Anyway, we got the bulk of the fence in. Next to the cricket field, looks quite cool. And seeing the school beyond the way, you could imagine just being on the train and coming into town and seeing that. It's quite nice. There's these little pedestrian barriers that you can sometimes put up near these rail crossings. They come in different shapes, but they're usually kind of difficult to walk on, so it just discourages you from trespassing onto the tracks. But I don't think there's anything we can use in the game, not without having to use Move It at least, so I might just have to leave that for now. But yeah, happy with that. And we can come through. I'll have to do another fixing session to sort out some of those fences, but from a distance it looks pretty good. Now, is that death wave going away? I'm not sure. So average health is about 60%, which is not too bad. I think that's a good average. Crematorium availability is pretty low, but the cemetery is doing okay. It might be cool to add a little viewing spot back up there for people who stopped by the road to watch the cricket. So on this footpath, is that what you mean? Have a little viewing platform. Well, the idea about this berm, I thought it kind of works twofold. Not only does it add as a flood barrier, but it's almost a natural seating area. Oh, did you see that lumpy bit of rail there? Oh dear, let's not look at that. But yeah, it kind of acts as a natural seating area to kind of watch the game. Tygon did comment that we should probably build some sort of structure to keep score of the game. Yeah, Move It is not happy, is it? So I can move stuff. I just don't get that little green overlay. And my FPS kind of dies when I do that. Well, it's good to know that we can use it if we need to. We'll just try to avoid it. But yeah, when it comes to creating some sort of scorekeeping building, where would we put that? It's probably away from the flood area, right? But I assume they also want it to be, I don't know, where would it be? Should we have a look at Google Earth and have a look at some cricket fields? I think that might be interesting. Let's change to Google Earth. Let me know if you see Google Earth. I think this should be working. I should be in Hastings. Okay, great. You can see it. Okay, yeah, I mean, this is Hastings. So this is a coastal city in the UK. And this is the same city that you might recognize from a $2.20 video. And he rebuilt, or was inspired by this part of the city, which is a nice park area surrounded by residential buildings. Anyway, you might notice a little bit of inspiration here for Clifton, which, by the way, I know is a terrible name. I've had many great suggestions for new names in the area, so I'll put together a channel poll and get your guys' opinion on what the new area should be called. But yeah, this is formerly a fishing town. As you can imagine, it's grown up much larger over a longer period of time. And yeah, there's this kind of cliff section similar to what we've got in Clifton. And along here, there's, instead of having a harbour that goes out to the sea, a lot of the ships are actually stored on the beach itself. And these are all little fishing huts. So this is something that I'm going to have a look at in the next episode to bring some industry to the area. But yeah, beautiful little old houses here. There's a street here called Old Town, pretty small, but there's nice little shops and pubs along here. And then over time it's also kind of catered more to tourism, not just beach tourism, but it's got a couple of castles. There's a castle on this hill here, which I think will be pretty cool inspiration for Sunny Isle on that hilltop. But what I'm interested in, I know there's a cricket ground over here. So they have, looks like a little centre here for just general, probably general use. The clubhouse, and then here I think is a little score section, score building. So I can see there's a screen or something here with some information on it, and then yeah, it just seems to be like a little basic building with a few bits around it. So maybe we can have a look at doing something like that for our cricket field. I'm going to switch back to CS2. Oh, it's always so jarring going from real life to Cities Skylines 2, isn't it? Okay, so it seemed with that cricket field that it was off-center. Like it wasn't necessarily right in the middle of, like it wasn't perpendicular to where the play is. So it doesn't really matter, I think, where we put this score building or whatever you want to call it. So we shouldn't be too precious where we want to put this type of building. And we've already got the clubhouse over here. So we've got a little bit more space here near the car park. Might be worth a spot to put this here. Now, I was just going to build it with sheds, UK sheds. But I wonder whether you can recolor these. It'd be nice if you can color them. Oh yeah, we've got the Japanese one as well. This might be quite good actually. Just going to place a few down and then we can use the picker tool. We got this one here, and then we've got this tool shed. This is one that comes with the vanilla base game, isn't it? Oh yeah, and they're just the big props. So what are the UK sheds called? Arts and recreation, landscaping. Yeah, they are called shed. So I'm not sure why they weren't coming up in Find It. Just put my dog down for a second. There she goes, she's on the floor now, happy. Yeah, I think these are pretty standard colour, right? Oh no, you can change them. That's a green one. And then we got some of these summer houses. These are quite large actually. Some little ones. Well, I'm thinking what you could do. Right, we've got it picked up. And can we change the elevation? Yeah. Can we turn it around? Ooh. Yes. Okay. Now this is probably going to end up looking horrendous. I'm just kind of going on the fly here. What could be a screen? Probably a billboard, right? I might have those turned off in the filter. Let's go to Find It and let's have a look. Hide branding. But would it come under branding? Can you get blank ones? I don't know what they're called actually. Sign. Oh yeah, so it's not letting me click it. How unusual. Let me turn off the branding again. Chaparral asks, what type of dog do I have? I have two dogs, two long-haired Chihuahua dogs. And they are delightful most of the time. But they are very, very protective, very defensive. So if they ever hear anybody walking past the house, they usually bark quite a lot. And that's why I don't usually do live streams. In fact, before I started making YouTube videos, I was live streaming. I'm just going to do this. Oh, it's here. We can go into here, can't we? Before I did any YouTube videos, I did try just live streaming, but they just barked all the time. And it was just, yeah, I couldn't do it. At least when I'm recording YouTube videos, I can edit the barks out. Because I don't like to lock them out of the office. I like them to kind of stick around. Anyway, I don't know what we're going to do for this. It's not billboard then, is it? Service props, maybe. Hey, Dejwala na Jez. How dare you come into my stream and I have to pronounce your name? But hey, thank you for joining. Nice to see you. Always good to have you on board. You always come up in my YouTube studio. I'm gonna go you DZ or DZ, because you get the most hearts out of all the comments. So perfect pronunciation. Yeah, I know. Right, you guys, any idea what we could use as a screen? I don't know what to pick. I'm thinking, yeah, I'm looking for billboard. I can't find just a blank one. Oh yeah, that's right. Sickler has a great idea. Why don't we steal one using the picker tool? Everything's dying over here, but ignore that. So what have we got over here? Oh look, what's this? Perfect. That is so much easier. I always forget, if you want to just design something in the game, just copy what the game's done already. Look at this, it's fantastic. Got the numbers on it and everything. Okay. I'm just going to stick it on the roof of this. Yeah, I like that. Let's get rid of these. And we got this little shed up here. Let's see if we can recolor this. That's the roof. What was it before? That'll be okay. That doesn't do anything, so that's fine. We make it even whiter. Yes, nice. Yeah, I'm imagining that this is one of those manual scoreboards, so somebody actually has to come up here and change the numbers. So we've got like a little hut that somebody could sit up stairs and make the changes. And at the back we can put in, is it the roof access building? I like that one. Roof access. Alright, it's a little bit big, isn't it? What about just some ladders? The texture on that Japanese asset, this one here on the roof, is actually pretty good, isn't it? You never really notice it until you get a little bit closer. Alright. Is that shed a bit silly up there? I would say yes, but let's roll with it. I think it's fine. And let's find a chair for someone to sit on if they're up here. They want to be watching the game, right? Yeah, like that. Elliot says, add a little fence around the roof. It would be very cute. Yeah, actually, that's a pretty good idea. Let's add a little fence, shall we? This is the little Japanese one, isn't it? Oh, these little these dog park ones are always quite nice and colourful. But we need something that is very lightweight, I think. That's a bit too big. That's going to obscure the view, isn't it? That's not bad. I like that one. What about the white one? Or is that just a shorter version? We could lower it as well. Let's attach it to that shed, shall we? We'll bring that shed a little bit closer. Let's hope we've picked the right one. Yep. No, that shed's not floating, I don't think, is it? No. This person is going to be really warm up here, so I'm wondering... No shed. No shed. I'm making an executive decision. No shed because we need a parasol. And there was not enough room for a scoreboard, a person, and a chair. So I'm just not going to look at the chat because you're going to be upset that I got rid of the shed. But I think this is going to look nicer. I wish we had smaller parasols. I really like this ship one, actually. I feel like these look way less elegant, especially with this lump of concrete at the bottom. Yeah, I like that. And we can recolor this, I know that. Get somewhere really bright, shall we? Bit more purple, I think. Yeah, a little white picket fence I think is quite nice. And we need to find the smaller version of that one, I think, now, don't we? Just finish that end here. I think it was a fence small, right? I know what it looks like. It's this one here. Yeah, perfect. Oh, that purple might be a little bit too bright. Did I get that right? Yeah, that's alright. And then we'll put just another one on the back here. We could put a post there. This is how much granular detail that Cities Skylines has now. At least from the UK pack, we got loads of little fence posts, right? And I think you can access them in here, in the landscaping menu. Yeah, these little things. Though that's quite big, isn't it? A little one here. See what it looks like. Yeah, that's alright. And then we could put another one of those on the other end. And it's all guesswork with Move It today because we don't have that little highlight. Control H to set the height. And then supposedly... Hey, we got it. Nice. And we just need to bring that fence in just a little bit. I don't think we're going to go into as much granular detail as in putting in little braces, brackets for the fence, but this will be good enough, I think. We'll make Tygon happy for some nice cricket details. And then this needs to be the same color as that one, right? Using the little painter tool, we can attach it there. All right, did anybody mention the umbrella color? No, okay, well, it's staying purple then. Butts, love your name. Love this channel and your videos. Any plans to make the save file available on Paradox Mods? Not right now. We've got it available to channel members, but the main issue I don't share it is because we're using quite a few custom assets, or local assets should I say, and it's a little bit of a headache trying to help people put those in the right place. So as you can imagine, if we put this on PDX mods, we'd get a lot more people asking for help, and we haven't really got time for that at the moment. But once the editor has been released, I see why not, you know, I say why not put it on PDX mods? The more the merrier. Do you think we need to put a fence all the way around it? Do you think it just looks a bit silly? Sometimes I like it when it looks a little bit half finished. Almost looks like this fence wasn't supposed to be there, but one day Jerry had an accident, and so they had to put a fence up. I recommend toolshed number 3 on the side and recolor it. Alright, we'll have a look at that. On the side outside QZ or on top? On the side. Probably back here next to the ladders. Toolshed 3. That's a big one. Almost as big as the building itself. What about just a little one? Maybe back here? And this could hold maybe all the little numbers. And this could hold all the little digits that go onto the display. Do you think he needs a little table? I wonder if there's any cups that we can steal from somewhere. Let's go and have a look around the island, shall we? Let's get a little bit higher up. Dome's Bar. Have you guys seen this? Maybe we could steal something from here. This is Dome's Beach Bar. This is a custom signature building. So I think on PDX mods it's called Dome's Signature Building, and he's got I think 2 or 3 assets in that pack, and one of them is this beach bar, and he's gone to town on this. Look at this inside here, and we've even got people using it sat at the bar. That's pretty cool, isn't it? And I really like the parking out here. It's kind of like a rough terrain parking. And over here there's usually somebody just sat chilling out. So I don't see a cooler. Oh look, here we go. Sasha, what are you doing? Oh, she's just at the Roadhouse, enjoying herself. Anyway, I did see they had some props in here we might be able to borrow. Let's use the little picker tool. Oh, it's the whole shop rack. I see what they've done now. So they've lowered that into the board, into the bar itself. That's pretty cool. It's very clever. Well, if we do this ourselves, then we might have to follow a similar trick. They'll just have to have lots of drinks. Maybe we put 2 seats up there, and people sometimes go up there just to hang out. Maybe not during the game, but maybe just in the evening. Well, I don't think I can move it now. I've lowered it too far. Yeah, I could just do it the old vanilla way, right? Or using extended detailing tools. Here we go. If there's more than one way to skin a cat, this is how we can do it. But yeah, let's have it a slight angle, shall we? And then we want to move it over here somewhere. There we go. Can we change this down to 0.1? Yeah. Oh yeah, I like that. And then we just grab... Let's move this seat across a little bit. Ah, so that's where you don't do it. Because you lose the elevation level if you use the vanilla move it. So that's where we got to do the little detailing, extended detailing tools. But I think if we use the picker on it, we can select another chair, yeah. But we don't want to use the same chair. These are probably chairs that are discarded. What about stool? I think a stool might be nice. Is a stool a thing? Maybe. Let's go into the regular window here. Oh no, I think one of these seats might be quite nice. And for some reason I've got this seat being green, at least. And this one could be a bit darker. Yeah, that's quite cool. Somebody's been having a bit of a party up here. But says that guy will be lucky if he doesn't fall off the roof. This is where we've got the fence. But yeah, that's a nice little detail, that. And it has... we now have a way of keeping score of the game, even though it's quite far away. So the umpire will probably need to use binoculars to keep an eye on what's going on. Let's add a little bit of a surface through here. The little thin one, I think. Yeah, I mean, it's not perfect, but it's quite whimsical, isn't it? Maybe put a bit of a more solid ground around it, using maybe just one of the vanilla surfaces. Which one is this? Yeah, that'll be okay, I think. Yeah, well, you know, it's a silly little thing, but I'm happy with it. Hey Jara, nice to see you. Thanks for joining me on the stream. Hey Harbour, you just missed us detailing a very sad looking scoreboard building, but we added a little drink station at the top of the building here for whoever has to manually change the score and keep cool. Not just with a parasol, but with a nice ice cold drink. There is a small clipping at the front. Let's have a quick look. Oh yeah, I can see it. Let's see if we can grab that. There we go, I think that's alright. Yeah, this is just the little cricket ground within our new city area, or the new town. Very kind of low-key, nothing too crazy. I think it looks alright. And this is how we'll see it most of the time, as a tiny little speck in the distance. Right, well, I've completely gone off list when it comes to my to-do list of fixes to do. So we did fix the lamppost at the beginning, and we also added some fencing along the rail, especially near the school. Let's have a look at adding some more trees in the new neighborhood, the new city, the new town, because at the moment you can see we don't really have any trees within the blocks. It's mostly just super dense parking and buildings. Hey Ovix, nice, thanks for joining the stream. But I don't want to remove all the parking. You can see here we created these I can't remember what they're called, like elbows on the road. They kind of cap off the end of the road, make it a little bit narrower, and it also allows us to place these trees while also retaining some parking further down. Sinclair, yes, this is a mix of mostly German and not French but Japanese assets, and I find that the color palette works really well. So this is one of the Japanese assets, and I think over here we've got another Japanese asset with a few back here as well, and a little French one there. We kind of mix it up, you know. This isn't set in a specific region. The map itself is set in the Caribbean, but it's a fictional place which has been inhabited by a lot of European influence. And so it might look a little bit German, but I think on a sunny island, like Sunny Isle, these terracotta roofs kind of work really well. I quite like the look of it. And we got still loads and loads of people using these trains, which is great. Which doesn't surprise me, it's the only way in and out of town. In the next episode we will run a new bus line from the town down to the coal mine, because there's quite a lot of jobs down here. And then that will run down to the port. Probably have a few stops around here, since there's a lot of different places to work. Down to the border control, which is busy as always. And then lastly, it will stop down by the coal power station. I imagine they have a whole load of employees. Yeah, 154. But this area has almost 700 employees, so that's quite a lot of people coming and going to the area, and the only way to come here at the moment is by car or walking, if you're happy to walk along the train tracks, which doesn't seem to be a problem. But as I said, I'd like to do some of the more major projects like that during an episode, whereas this live stream is just about taking it easy and just detailing and adding a few small finishing touches to our build. Alright, so to add these little eyebrows, or elbows, I don't know what they're called. Yeah, this is a strange phenomenon. I'm not able to see my cursor. I wonder if it's got something to do. With my input, maybe. No, it doesn't seem to be it. Sinclair said it's Move It that's bugged the game. Yeah, I think so. Alright, well, let's save the game. Now, can you load a new game? Will that work? We'll try it out. It doesn't seem to have fixed it, has it? That's alright. We can load this up again. So we'll exit to desktop. And we'll change this to Google Earth. We'll have a quick look around for some inspiration while we get the game loaded up again. Yeah, I've not experienced that issue with Move It before, where you lose some of the, not the UI, but some of the cursor controls. It's a little bit odd. But then again, I don't really use Move It that often. I try not to anyway, not since we started getting crashes and issues with it, which I feel like has been a while now. I think it's been since November time, right? Alright, I've got the game loading up in the background. Alright, so what we were looking at was Hastings. So this is a cricket field in Hastings that we kind of took a little bit of inspiration from. Definitely had artistic license and went a little bit off grid. It does have a little shed at the back though, so I feel like we did replicate that. Anyway. Let's not stray too far. I'm not used to these controls as well. It's like changing up from Cities Skylines to Google Earth is a little bit jarring sometimes. Yeah, Habermaster J Cuboid has had some issues and other stuff going on, so he's not been able to spend much time on updating Move It. Yeah, no, I totally understand, and I'm not one to use it very often, so I've not been personally affected as much as other people that like to detail quite heavily. So I've just been taking it in my stride, and modders are just doing incredible things for very little reward. So I'm not complaining, and we've got so many other things in the game to occupy our time. Jared said, in the Caribbean, we have English, French, Spanish, Dutch, and Danish influences, so it doesn't look too far-fetched. Yeah, I know. That's what I've really noticed having a look around on Google Earth. So one of the places is it Curacao? Curacao. I don't know how you pronounce it. This is in the Caribbean. This is the southern Caribbean. And they have an incredible town centre. And if you like highway infrastructure, this is your Caribbean island for it. Look at this bridge. Look at that. It's so big. And it is like that in reality. I had a look on Street View, and the main reason it's that big is they have a super big industrial port right in the middle of the island. Look at this, it's incredible. And then the main tourist area is just outside of that. You've got this bridge here, this floating bridge, which I believe is a swing bridge. So when they need ships to come through, it disconnects at one end and then the whole thing rotates 90 degrees. But this is just a pedestrian bridge. And the main shopping areas are around here for tourists at least. I think the main shopping area for local people is further up here. I'm not 100% sure. But yeah, they've got this events. This is a market, I think, here. But yeah, look at this this interchange right in the middle of the old town pretty much. And it takes you straight into the heart of this area. And lots of parking. Not the most walkable friendly, pedestrian friendly area, but very interesting island. And these large, well, I think a ferry, I think these are ferry points off where cruise ships dock, at least, and then they come into the island. Yeah, so Jay says for the oil tankers to get through. But yeah, very interesting island. Another island which I think is quite interesting, and City Planner Plays recently went there, is the Bahamas, which is an ex-British colony, I believe. So they drive on the left. Let's zoom in here. So they have quite a large port as well, not as big as Curacao. And it's external. They have like this reef that protects it. But you can see where all the cruise ships come docking. Ginormous beasts. And yeah, this is much denser development along here. There's a lot more money going on in this island. Look at these hotels. You can see it's a mammoth of a thing. Look at this. This is probably where City Planner Plays stopped, right? Because this is where they would hold a big concert. Anyway, we should stop fanboying over City Planner Plays and see if we can get back into the save game. Looks like it's working now. I'll have a little sip of water while we wait. Right, I'm just looking back at the chat and somebody said the thing that we're trying to achieve is bulb outs. So yeah, let's have a look at this. Yeah, so these wider sidewalk areas with a little bit of parking is called a bulb, which makes sense. I like that. So we can do that through here and add a little bit more greenery, I think. So I'd like to use just a few of these snapping tools so that we can snap to the grid. And I wonder how close we can get to an intersection to add these. Put one in there. Let's just do a little test one. It doesn't like that. To go a bit further out, further into the street, I think. Oh, we did lose a building. That's a shame. All right. Well, that's annoying. Maybe we just need to use it where the grid is a bit stronger and we can't cause any issues. Put the radio back on. I don't mind the radio. I've got that that mod. It's no, what's it called? No ad radio or something like that. It just makes streaming a bit easier because you're not having to battle over my voice and the ad voices. And those adverts can get a little bit annoying after a while, can't they? Right, I think we can put one of these little bulb outs here. Yeah, that's quite good. And then for trees, you guys might be able to help me out. I mean, I would love to put palms through here, but they don't really offer that much shade, do they? Let's have a look. So we do have alders on the island. It does clip into the building a little bit, but not too much, does it? Maybe if we go for a young one. We'll put that in there just as a test. But I quite like that. The other one that we use on the island quite a lot is the oak. But I think the oak is just too large, even for a young version. There's too much clipping. We don't use birch on the island. I don't think they would survive very well in this climate. Not that any of these trees are naturally found in the Caribbean, but we don't have that much choice in the game. Spruce, Sinclair. Spruce. Have you seen the temperature? Spacey, is Sunny Isle a fictional overseas territory? It seems very European except for the nature. Yes, it's a... so the island is based in the Caribbean, but the Caribbean has quite a checkered past with European occupiers, and so it has a lot of European influence. And hence we have justified why a British person, myself, building a Caribbean island with very little knowledge of what actually happens in the Caribbean. But I get lots of feedback in the comments about what works and what doesn't work, and I really do appreciate everybody's comments when it's constructive, at least. And these German assets may never really get to see themselves next to a palm tree, except in our build on Sunny Isle. Anyway, I think the alder is a good shout. Let's have a look at how low that goes. It clears the traffic by the looks of it, and the people. Yeah, I like that. We'll go for the alder then. And was it the young? It was the young. So we can only really put these on one side of the road, because for some reason we get the street light just staying. You see this street light just sticking through. I'm not sure whether that's a bug in the game or whether that is an issue with one of my mods. So we'll just delete it on that side and then replace it there. And it adds a little bit more shade to the street. And it reduces the amount of parking as well. It also makes it, in our imagination, a little bit safer to cross because the street is shorter. And there's more visibility at least. So we could replicate that, I think, all along King Street. Yeah, adds a bit more nature to the city, a bit more texture like that. Anyway, that's probably going to be really boring to do with you guys. So maybe we should move on to something more exciting. Let's have a look at the death care, shall we? I know that's been an issue. It seems to have resolved itself. So we've got the cemetery over here, which we've had for the longest time. I think it was like episode 2 we put it down. And it is almost full. We've got around about 1,000 positions left. And then in the last episode, I placed down this crematorium, which was not in the video. It was in between the cuts because I was just panicking about how much death was in the city. But I just placed this in the Valley Commercial Park area next to the tram station. And although it's not the most scenic location for a crematorium, I imagine it would not be the nicest place to come. It's functional, and I think we could have a look at maybe building a park or a memorial area towards the city on this side of the crematorium. And then we also have this hill here, which eventually I do want to add a lot of smaller features through here. We could have hotels, we could have camping. I don't want to overdevelop it in terms of the amount of structures on here. I want to keep it quite green. But it could be maybe dedicated to more recreational space. And yeah, we got another crematorium in here, probably the little one, with a graveyard, which is not functional, but it's that little custom graveyard that we built for the French area. And these guys are doing okay, I think. Yeah, got no bodies stored. No hearses out, so it looks like that little death wave we have has resolved itself. Now we do have a little car crash here, which is okay. As long as the fires don't spread, I'll be happy. That's been an issue on this little peninsula, is getting the fire engines out here, and I probably should have put a fire station in this area, but now that we've got this super fat road going through the area with this fire station here, we got pretty decent coverage through the area. 7 o'clock in this road, it's pretty quiet. Very controversial build this, but I think in a city like this, it's not completely unbelievable, is it? Digger's Dingo says, I think it would be a good idea to increase the taxi fares so that as there are too many taxis in the city. Let's have a look then. $50. If I could make it higher, I would. I would. Do you know what though? I think I am to blame when it comes to the taxi situation. Let's have a look at the public transport info view. Alright, let's have a look at the taxis, shall we? Wow. That's a lot of taxis. So, 5,600 passengers a month. And our buses are currently holding around about 2.5 times as much as that, 3 times. So you'd like to think, why are people taking the taxis over the buses? Is it because we don't have any public transport? We have lots of public transport. So this probably isn't very clear. Let me go into night mode. Might be a little bit easier, and I'll turn those taxis off temporarily. So we've got the train, which is the small 2-car train. There's a few stops. So we've got the harbour, and we've got the main train station, and then we've got another stop here just before it leaves town. Then we've got the 2 tram lines. We've got the first tram line that starts at the old town. There's a stop here near the civic quarter, near the school, and up here near Leaside, near the cricket field. And then there's another stop up by the depot itself. And then the second line goes through the centre of the city, and it stops here by the harbour market. Now, this is where I think we've kind of failed the city, because there's not that much connectivity from this side to this side without making a change. So I think maybe a lot of people are just getting a taxi because it's easier for them to just go on one journey from, say, the civic quarter up to Solar Hills. But to do that, they would have to come all the way down here, maybe change to a bus, come down here, and then walk. And for them, it's probably just easier to get from taxi from point A to point B. But that's all to come in due time. I do want to have a look at maybe adding a 3rd tram line through here, and then coming up the side in between the warehouse district and Kaplan. And then we've got quite a large flat space at the top here, which I imagine we could fill with some medium density, just bring a lot of people in this area. It's very close to the schools and workplaces over here. And then maybe just add in another, either a tram line or a bus route that goes at the top of this neighbourhood here, and then connects up to the harbour and market area, and then either comes down the beachfront here, or maybe it comes back into the centre of the city. But a lot of this is residential, and they don't necessarily want a large tram road going through the area. These are all very small roads. But what I wanted to say about the taxis, if it allows us to have a look at the taxi depots, not particularly, but I've put so many taxi depots down, way more than I probably should have. So we got one here. Let's have a look at this. Can we select these? Oh, there we go. Here we got one here, another one. So we've got 2 on this side. We got a 3rd one there, and then I think Out here we've got 2 as well. So we've got about 5 different taxi depots, all pushing hundreds and hundreds of taxi vehicles out. And to be honest, it's not causing that much of an issue. Like, most of the roads have traffic, but it's not backed up. So these are some of our major intersections. We set it onto 3 speed. I'm not really seeing that much congestion, even though we do have a lot of taxis. But it also means people don't have to own a personal car, you know. If they can jump into a taxi, get to where they're going, and then somebody else uses that taxi, that's one less vehicle parked up somewhere in the city, just taking up space. Yeah, this area gets the most congestion. I do have an episode planned for this area and for this district specifically. I think I'd like to have a look at maybe looking at ways at reducing congestion, not just by changing the roads, but also having a look at some of the policies and some of the uses through here. We've already started doing that a little bit with this bus only road, but as you can see, there's already people using them when they shouldn't be using them. But we've got a few policies that we could use. Maybe we could target them in specific areas. So heavy traffic ban would first of all reduce the amount of large trucks coming through the area. We could also introduce roadside parking fees so that people are discouraged from even coming into the area to consider parking. Speed bumps too will reduce the speed of the roads, making the area less desirable to drive in. And then lastly, the gated community, which is very similar to the old town policy from CS1. And that only allows people to drive in the area if they actually have a destination within the area. And this is one that I would probably use as a last resort. This is almost, I'd say, the closest we've got in-game to a congestion charge, where we only allow people in that really need to be in the area. But for now, you know, it clears up eventually. We get a little bit of traffic here and there. And another thing that might be causing traffic is our parking. Are you ready to be shocked about how much parking we've got here? Let's have a look. Which one is it? Is it roads? There we go. I don't think there is anybody further, like more than 2 or 3 minutes away from a parking spot. We've got capacity for over 3,300 parked cars, and that doesn't include the roads themselves. And a lot of the side roads, if it's not a main road, they allow parking. But, and I've mentioned this in episodes, without parking there are no cars, and without cars there's no traffic. And one of the main attractions to games like Cities Skylines for me is fixing traffic problems. So sometimes I like to create redundant systems that kind of break over time. But this roundabout was a disaster when it was first built. It was overly used, but now it's working great. And we've got, in some areas, up to 4 lanes of traffic. It's just fun to see, isn't it? Just everybody whizzing by. Right, I've got another item on my fix list that I wanted to quickly take a look at, and that was this river surface here. This is supposed to be representing some sort of floodplain with this kind of darker surface. And I did notice that it's a little bit skew here. In fact, I might just delete this one. And then just start redrawing it. Now I'm kind of interested in seeing how this surface looks underneath the water, so I'm going to draw a part of it underneath the water, and I'm just going to go up to there just to give us an idea of what it looks like without necessarily dedicating too much time to it. Okay, so it's not that noticeable. And I use the bridges to kind of hide the transition from one edge to another. Almost looks like a shadow underneath the bridge. I don't know. Maybe I should have a look at using some of Sully's surfaces. I think he's got some great riverbed surfaces, and really pay attention. Give this area the attention it deserves. And for now, maybe we could just remove it. It was featured in the video, but I don't think anybody will notice when it's missing. Anyway, next time, yeah, this area is going to be changed quite a lot. We've got this empty space at the back here. I'd like to have a look at creating a small little industrial hub. Perhaps use some of the custom boat props that I think Crypto Gamer created, and he has them on Sully's Discord server. So I might have a look at maybe creating a little boat yard, a land version, something similar to what we saw on Google Earth at Hastings, and maybe have a look at having a few of those along the beach as well, and developing this. I imagine this beach wouldn't stay this green, given the amount of development we've got in the area. They would definitely have a look at maximizing the potential here. Whether we want to add any more road crossings through here, we could stick one there where we put the trees along King Street. I might avoid it on this side since we're going to have a lot more train traffic coming in and going. Hey Kyodra, thanks for joining the stream. Nice to see you. Anyway, this was my first attempt at using Sully's beach textures, kind of following the steps in which he lays out in his tutorial video, because before I kind of just painted it on without really much consideration. But using the three different color types, so there's like the wet texture, there's the semi-wet texture, and then there's the dry texture, and combining that with some of the decals, you get this beautiful blend between the different layers of the beach. I quite like that. Spacey asks how many people live in Clifton. So at the end of the episode it was about 10,000 or 9,500. So we're looking at around about the same amount, a little bit more, 9,977. With about 30% children, which is crazy how many children there are in the game. I think IRL it should be about 25%. But I think I haven't got the Infoloom mod at the moment. I disabled it after the last patch. I need to turn it back on. But I think children do live a little bit, or they are classed as children a little bit older than what they are in real life. And given that senior citizens now die at a much younger age, so we've got much less older people in the city, it's going to skew the ratio of the number of children we've got. William K says, if you want people to hang out on the beach, you can add a park, then delete it, and then remove all the elements. Yeah, I've done that before. We did something similar to that for our cricket ground in the main city. So underneath here, I've got a soccer field, which I think we should rename this to Leaside cricket grounds. And we do see people occasionally coming out here. Not at the moment, but we do occasionally see people coming out here. I think this is one now making the approach. And what's nice about using an asset is it also provides attraction to the area. And it also costs you money. Look at this, you got loads of floating people. Oh no, I thought that, oh no, they are floating. What are they doing? Huh. So they're at the cricket ground. And you're floating. How unusual. Let's have a look at the markers. Let's have a look at this. Now I don't think you can select markers, can you? With move it? No, I don't think so. Alright, well, to resolve it, we can delete markers, I know that. Let's have a look. So, I'm not sure whether this is just going to completely destroy the asset, but let's just delete this one and this one, because they look like they were the ones that were floating. And then eventually, they may all disappear. No, we've got another one coming here. I'm guessing this is where we had the stands from the soccer asset. And now they come to the top of the stands. How interesting. Let's have a look at surfaces and spaces. Yeah, look at this. You can see it up here. We delete that. Actually, let's not delete it. Can we move it? That'd be fun. So what you're seeing here, let me just quickly show you in Better Bulldozer. So you see this surface here. This is a surface that is built into the soccer field asset, spaces and areas. So it's one of these, probably a hangout area. And what we could do, if we're careful, let's just reduce the number of spawners this has. And see if we can move it ourselves. Oh, it's going to the ground, I can see it. Well, we'll just move it to the ground, shall we? There we go. We're on the ground now. So yeah, these people are all visiting the park and hanging out by the portaloos. Maybe they're waiting to go to the toilet, because this isn't very much capacity for a sports field, is it? Experitum said, I didn't know areas like that could be above ground. No, I didn't either, to be honest. But then I guess I did, because I have seen on some of the residential assets, the high density residential assets would have balconies, and sometimes people would hang out inside the balconies. Oh look, doing that has moved all the people onto the field. It looks like there's a game of cricket on. But I'm not sure whether you can change the size or the height of the surfaces yourself. And I'm kind of scared to try it. This is a great view. Look, you've got the church in the background. You wouldn't see it down here though, I don't think. Let's go to ground level. Just a little bit in the distance. We should stick one of those scoreboards on this field as well. Where did we steal it from? We stole it from over here, didn't we? Let's get the pick a tool and grab... What is this? It's just a circle. Let's grab this. And what is it called? I'm just curious, actually. It's called a scoreboard. I don't think there's any others, are there? No, it's just the one. Expertin says, you know they're playing cricket because most people are just standing around. Yeah, you're right. Right, where should we put this? Somewhere over here should be right. I like this asset. It's got the little numbers on it. Should put it behind the fence just in case it gets... Nah, we'll put it over here. It's fine. I'll tell you who's got the best view for cricket. These houses here. And when we first built these houses, they had balconies, much larger ones than this. But you got 2 floors of balconies now. I bet they love watching the game. Quite nice with the hills in the background as well. Who else plays with the fog on? I love the fog. I think it just adds so much more depth, especially when you've got everything in the foreground. Without it, everything just starts to blend together, but at least this provides some context, some distance with everything else. QZ said, is cricket fun? Well, I've not played it since school, and I was trying out for the school team and they didn't pick me, so I would say no, it's not fun, it's rubbish. I'd rather go to this school where they've got the pool. It's a little bit unnerving though that there's a pool here and then you've got this large block of flats. I did notice that was a little bit of a faux pas on my part. Maybe we could cover it up using some tents or pagodas. We got anything big enough that would cover it? A big event tent would be great here, wouldn't it? But the condensation would be horrible, wouldn't it? Let's have a look. Is there anything in StarQ's ploppable buildings that might work? These gas station things are quite nice. A little bit funky with the pumps underneath though. I don't think that'll work. Too, you need something with an upgrade that doesn't necessarily have that much structure around it. Oh yeah, these might be quite nice. Look at that. Is that the right size? It's just a little bit too narrow. Let's have a look at some of the service buildings. Yeah, I don't really know if there's anything suitable. I know in the farming buildings there's the greenhouse, but I'm a bit hesitant to use that. These ones here, which are probably pretty good. Look at that. You can still see the pool. It does offer a little bit more privacy. Maybe we just go with it and say that it's a specially tinted glass with UV protection. What's that look like? Does it look a bit silly? It looks a bit silly, doesn't it? It does obscure the pool a little bit more though. And I think you can move it on these, or extended detailing tools doesn't exist on them for some reason. I'll tell you what, I'll keep that. I think that looks interesting. And somebody will notice it in a video one day and have no idea why it's there. Traffic's still pretty bad down here. This is, I don't know if you saw it, but there was a taxi pickup right here. You get a lot of people just stopping on the corners waiting for taxis. And then this lorry. This is what this is why we probably need to bring in the heavy traffic ban here, because these vans fit in just about to allow trains to come through. These big lorries are no good through here. There you go. Fake FE said, at launch I turned the fog off, but I've recently turned it back on and it's amazing the difference it makes. Yeah, I agree. What about clouds? Do you play with the clouds? I do find the clouds a little bit annoying sometimes, especially if I'm moving quite a lot. I get a lot of that shadow, not shadow effect, but that blur effect. Yeah, I'm not sure whether we want to keep that tree at the end. But these trees have changed. I did have them as palm trees. Let's go into the tree tool and find palm. And then we want to go into change tree type tool, change building, and then click that. Done. Beautiful. Andreas, love your content. Oh, you deleted the message. Well, thank you for the nice words. And QZ, you said you get the blur with the cars. Yeah, I think that's a DLSS side effect, which I don't suffer from. I play on an Intel graphics card. One of the few. And I'm not able to use... where is it? Is it the dynamic resolution? I can't remember where it is now. Oh, there we go. NVIDIA DLSS. So yeah, that can cause the blurring effect. There is a fix. There's a text tutorial on the Cities Skylines Discord server, but it does require swapping out one of the game files. And hopefully it gets fixed in the near future. But fortunately I don't have that issue in Sunny Isle. And everything looks pretty cool. Alright, well, I think we had a good run today. A little bit of detailing with this little cricket hut. So I'm probably gonna grab a beer and chill up here and watch the game for a little bit. Thank you very much for joining me, everyone. Nice little impromptu stream. And I hope to do a few more in the future. I know we didn't really achieve very much today. But the purpose of these Cities Uncut quote-unquote episodes is just to make minor changes, things that I probably would have done off camera, and just to involve you and get feedback on some of the things that I might have missed. So thank you very much, and yeah, we'll see you in the next one. We'll start recording the new episode and we'll have it up in about a week. Till next time, bye bye.